This is the plaintiff, Lisa Marie Pimentel. She says she was evicted from her apartment and stayed with the defendant for a few months. All she brought with her was her cats, her mother's jewelry, and the clothes on her back. Then one day, out of the blue, the defendant locked her out, called the cops, and accused her of trespassing. The defendant still has all her belongings. There's no reasoning with her, and she's suing the stubborn woman for the $5,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Mary Elizabeth Ryder. She says she knew the plaintiff from the neighborhood, knew she was evicted, and wasn't thinking straight due to a concussion when she told the plaintiff she could store some stuff in her apartment. Eventually, the woman finessed her way into staying with her, and things spiraled downward from there. Why she got herself into this situation, she'll never know. But the bottom line is this: she owes the woman nothing. She's accused of taking what's not hers. The defendants filed a countersuit for $5,000 for rent and cat sitting.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff says the defendant locked her and her cat out of the apartment and has all of their belongings. But the defendant says she knew the plaintiff was having hard times and stupidly let her move in, and she was beyond awful. It's the case of time to feed the kitty.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Lisa Marie Pimentel.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Mary Elizabeth Ryder for $5,000 in jewelry and miscellaneous items that use designer items, makeup bags, clothing, pearl earrings, gemstone bracelets, pearl necklaces that you say that she is wrongfully withholding from you, and you are counterclaiming in the amount of $5,000 in rent and cat sitting and some bills that you say she owes you. Tell me what's going on.
July of 2011, I was evicted from my apartment. I had met Mary Elizabeth in a flea market in the neighborhood.
You were evicted, why? Non-payment?
Lack of payment.
Okay.
We had issues in the apartment as far as leaks and mold and disrepairs. I had fought in court, and I lost the case.
So that was how many months that you lived there without paying rent?
I'd say about 5.
5 months rent-free, and
yes.
The court found against you on the mold
Found
issue.
against me because I was not I was grandfathered into the apartment.
What does that mean by grandfathered in then? They found against you that you weren't really a tenant for 30 years, is what
I
you're
was
saying.
a tenant because I was underneath my grandparents' lease as a Jane Doe for 30 years in that apartment.
Were your grandparents still living there?
No.
Okay.
They had recently been deceased.
Okay.
The person that I was staying with, I just did not like the environment. So Mary Elizabeth invited me to stay with her with my cats.
How many cats did you have?
3. So Mary Elizabeth came with me to retrieve my animals and took me back into her apartment.
So then she brings you in, and what happens? You're not paying rent? She's just doing you the favor?
It was doing me the favor.
For how long?
As long as I needed to.
Which could be what, 2 years?
Could have been 2 years or until I found
Really?
some place that I wanted to stay.
You don't think that maybe there should be a limit to that largesse?
At that point, I had been hit by a car. I was recuperating.
Do you have a lawsuit pending?
Yes, I do.
So go on.
I came back from an appointment on the morning of December 9th and found the locks had been changed.
How long had you been there? From July to December?
From August, the second week in August to the second week in December.
Okay. And you had never paid rent?
I had never paid rent.
Had she asked you to help out?
No, she did not. I supplied
What was
food.
she mad at?
I don't know.
Oh, you do know. Come on.
I don't know.
Because she's the same person who offered you a roof over your head for free for 5 months. Something turned during the 5 months. What was it? I'll just ask her in a minute. So you want to tell me your version or not?
I was giving her $200 a month in food, my food stamps.
You were using your food stamps for rent?
To supply the house with food. I was going to the local food pantry, bringing home produce.
Why don't you work?
Because of the car accident. I was working.
So what was she mad at? Are you going to answer that or no?
I don't know.
Okay, tell me what you were mad at. What happened? You bring this lady into your home.
She kept getting drunk. Drunk. She came into my apartment approximately August 4th or 5th, and my birthday is August 11th. She disappeared the first time, the day before my birthday, and didn't come back until the day afterwards. She told me she had a seizure, no calls, no anything.
How do you know that she was drinking?
There were other people in the neighborhood apparently that did know that she drank. I did not know that. She's what they call, I was told in AA when I went to the meetings, that she's a binge drinker. She stops, she starts,
When you say you went to the meetings, are they for yourself or as
I went to find out why she was acting the way she was acting. I didn't go to Al-Anon because I didn't think I was enabling her. When she showed back up on the 12th, I said, if you ever do this again, I said, 3 things are going to happen. The locks are going to be changed. All your stuff is going in the basement and your cats are going to go to the pound because I'm not dealing with this anymore.
Did she tell you that she had been drinking? Did she admit it?
She would never admit anything.
Does she acknowledge that there was a past problem, or she doesn't even acknowledge that?
No, she doesn't. I've talked to her parole officer.
What is she on parole for?
As far as I understand, child abuse.
How old was the child?
It was an infant.
What was that about?
I was in process of court proceeding with my grandfather for his custody, which I had won.
Who were you wrestling it from?
From my half-sister who lived in Oregon.
You were in the process of doing that and what?
And I had a bad cold. I had taken some cold syrup, and I really don't remember what transpired.
What they accuse you of?
Assault.
On an infant?
Oh, no. Assault in the 3rd degree. I was
On whom?
released. Against my sister.
Why is she talking about an infant?
I don't know.
Where did you get the infant part?
That's what she had told me.
An infant?
Yes, that she was left in the care of an infant, and the infant had scratch marks down the front of her body when her mother came back.
And did she tell you how the scratch marks happened?
She said she doesn't remember it.
Did she say she had cold medicine in her?
Yes, she did. She didn't say anything about any alcohol, but she did say she had cold
Did
medicine.
she go to prison for that?
She was in Rikers Island psychiatric for a month.
Did you know this before you brought her into your home? So when do you ask her to leave?
I've asked her to leave, and she's told me that she would help. I would say,
What do you mean I've asked her? She's still there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I changed the locks.
Okay.
I had to.
So tell me about that. When do you change the locks?
I think it was about December 10th.
December?
December 10th.
It took that long? Okay.
Yeah.
And so in September, October, November, you're asking her to leave, but she doesn't, but she has health issues, so you're not pushing it and you're trying to help her.
I'm trying to help her. I'm trying to
Okay,
see
what
that she
happened to precipitate the changing of the locks? What was the last straw?
Well, one night she went supposedly out to see some friends in Long Island. She was driven out there. Okay. She was brought back to the neighborhood about midnight and dropped off near my house. She did not show up in my house until 4:15 in the morning. The friend told me that she was dropped off at about 11:45. And then she, of course, denied everything. But the kicker is this. She talks in her sleep. Yes. She talks in her sleep. And in her
That's a bad trait
sleep.
to have if you're up to no good.
Would you let somebody move in if they were on hard times and you didn't know them well?
No, because that's all your stuff in there. I mean, would you let somebody just drive your car if you didn't really know?
I'm asking the questions.
Definitely not. No way.
I think you're smart. It's really playing with fire going inside the courtroom.
In her sleep, she says, oh, yeah, drop me off at the corner of a block from my house.
All right, I have a question for you. What was it that happened that was the last straw on the lock change?
All right. Thanksgiving. I asked my son if he wanted to have Thanksgiving with us. And he said to me, he says, Mom, I'd love to spend time with you, but I don't want to be with that crazy lady. And my older son said to me, he says, Mom, she's never going to leave. She's going to leave when she's ready to leave.
Right, because why should she? I mean, she can
Exactly.
be anywhere she wants and not pay rent. She's got it all figured out. So tell me then, you to ask her to leave on Thanksgiving Day so that you can have time with your children, and what?
She just started acting really even nastier than before. I had already been to the AA meetings, tried to figure out what I could do to get
Was she going to the
changes.
AA meeting?
No,
Oh,
she
just
didn't
you
go.
going.
Just me.
What's wrong with you? That's why your sons are disgusted. Because you're
sorry.
allowing all this to happen.
Well, that's
was
just
she
it.
your best friend of 30 years?
No.
Just somebody you know from the neighborhood?
I thought we were best friends, but that didn't happen.
That's really what happened. You wanted a friend, and you thought she was that friend, and then you realized it was kind of one way. And she's not that friend, right?
I thought I could help her, but she is such a great actress.
Okay, Florence Nightingale, it's not your job. You know what your job is? To have an environment where your two sons want to visit you.
Exactly.
Now you're taking her to court because, according to you, the locks were changed. Okay, so what did you do?
I called my friend.
And?
He tried to speak to Mary Elizabeth to tell her, just give her back her stuff and close a chapter in this life.
Okay.
She refused.
Okay. Did you keep some of her stuff that you brought to court here today?
Yeah, there's a few things here, but I returned a lot of things to her.
Okay, she claims that you kept $5,000 worth of jewelry hostage to rent you claim she owes her. When did you say you cannot stay here unless you pay rent and she agreed?
She was never going to agree. There was no sense
Okay, so
talking
there was
to
never an
her.
agreement to pay rent, but you're counterclaiming her $100 gas bill, $300 electric bill, $500 phone and internet bills, none of which you had told her that she was going to have to pay, cleaning after she left. What have you got in that bag? Let me see.
And
Is this the last of the stuff that's in your place?
yeah, this is Julie.
Why didn't you just come in with the police and clear out your place once instead of multiple times?
I was not aware that I was able to go into the property. I did have a.
Wait a second, because you are someone who knows darn well every right that you can exercise. I got your number. You know how it works. Are these real?
Yes.
Wow.
They were. It was inheritance jewelry from my
They're
mom.
spectacular. And you can't pay rent?
They were my mom's jewelry that she had purchased with my brother's insurance, who was
And you're
killed in the
picking out
military.
food from the pantry? I don't have these. I'd really like these. I don't pick up food from the pantry.
I was purchasing
The food from the pantry is for people who need it.
and I in turn bring stuff for them.
That's so good of you. Every article of food that you take from the pantry is something someone else cannot take from the pantry.
I was out of work. These are things that I had gotten prior to the eviction.
How much are you suing for in the car accident?
They tell me I can sue for $1 million.
Okay, can you pop these up? Ms. Pimentel,
Yes, ma'am.
how is it that we end up here with a person who showed you the kind of kindness that she showed you? I don't know whether you have an alcohol problem or not, but you have a problem.
Okay.
Because I cannot imagine that when you were a little girl, this is how you imagined
No, it's not.
things would end up. I am not going to order her to pay you $5,000. I'm
Okay.
going to hand you the stuff that she brought, and this is going to be over.
Okay.
On your counterclaim against her, you alternate between being completely spineless and then being incredibly brazen. Like you're just a series of bad decisions, okay? She's not your problem, you are your problem. And you need to figure out what your problem is so that your life goes a little more the way you planned when you were a little girl as well. Good luck to both of you.
And so this case ends here in the People's Court. The plaintiff right here. What's your reaction to the judge's verdict?
I'm pleased.
Tell me why.
I just wanted to close this chapter of my life. I didn't want it to go this far. Unfortunately, she chose this route, and it's over. It's done.
Looks like you kind of took advantage of her as long as you could, is what it looks like.
No, sir, I
Is what
did
it looks
not.
like.
Unfortunately, when you see something, it's not always what it appears to be. She got a housemaid for free. She got dinner taken care of.
Is it true that you do have a problem, or
No, I do not.
You don't?
No, I do not.
All right, right around the corner this
Thank
way,
you.
and let's see what the defendant has to say about the outcome. All right, you satisfied with how the judge sees this?
Not really. She had an immense amount of lies that she told, and I couldn't even counter all of them.
Are you a helper or an enabler?
I thought I was helping her. I think
Which are
that
you?
I just have to be more discerning in who I deal with.
Okay, Harvey.
Well, I can do this real fast. Before you let anybody into your life, and especially moving in, you better know exactly who that person is.